Hello and welcome to the Conducting Big Room Cross-Team Planning Remotely with Jira Align webinar. Here's our agenda for the day, and let me first start off by introducing myself. I'm Tom O'Connor, an Atlassian Jira Align Solutions Architect. I've been with Atlassian for just over a year now by way of the AgileCraft acquisition. I've been an Agilist since 2007 and spent a considerable amount of that time as an Agile transformation coach and product specialist. One of my passions for 30 years has been and continues to be a volunteer firefighter and emergency responder. I was chief for nearly half that time at the Divide Fire Protection District in Divide, Colorado, which is a small town about 25 miles west of Colorado Springs on the other side of Pikes Peak at 9,165 feet in altitude. And as an Agilist, I've also instilled many lean and agile values into the fire service. Why does remote planning matter? Most organizations have pockets of agility and are working on cross-functional organizational agility so they can focus on building the right things for their customers and stakeholders more efficiently and faster. This investment in their people and tools to support their agile and digital transformation, and Atlassian plays a key role in achieving this. This allows those companies to invest in agile and digital transformation to meet their customer needs through stronger innovation, faster time to market, better customer satisfaction, higher quality, enhanced competitiveness, reduced costs, and increased profits. The key to this statement is getting in sync and staying in sync. The Scaled Agile Framework, SAFe, states through their 7th principle based on Don Reinerson's principles of product development flow that cadence alone is not enough. Cadence and synchronization limits variability at the plan to actual delivery, effectively helping to reduce waste and reduce time to market. The scale gap. The connected enterprise enables the promise of agility. Big room planning, PI planning, or Big room planning or PI planning is the forcing function activity that helps organizations move from team-based agility to enterprise agility. For those of us that have experienced the energy, collaboration, and real-time problem solving and commitment by all to focus on the why and to deliver customer value, we understand the importance of this key event. However, COVID-19 has forced the pivot from in-person work and to planning virtual coordination. Organizations that are committed to delivering customer value knows that our planning and execution must continue to move forward. So let's talk about big room planning. The Agile Manifesto states that most efficient and effective method for conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face conversation. Big room quarterly or SAFe program increment planning is the cadence-based face-to-face event for coordination and collaboration to align the teams to a shared mission, vision, objectives, and planned outcomes. The Big Room Planning event is a facilitated and coordinated Agile at Scale planning event held at least every 3 months or quarterly. It typically is 2 days of the organization planning together face-to-face in the same big room. Teams are planning their work and coordinating with other teams, which may include shared services or even external teams. It gives everyone a visible overview of what work we are doing and an understanding of who is dependent on whom. It also identifies risks and objectives to effectively deliver customer and stakeholder value. And you can see there's a picture of a big room planning event for a Scaled Agile Framework that shows the big room with everybody working together, and an example program board, a physical program board with sticky notes and strings to show the dependencies between features. The Jira Align program board allows us to stay aligned in real time. So here's a key question. Do you spend a lot of time trying to coordinate work across teams? Once work begins at scale, there are often hundreds of activity streams and thousands of moving parts. As a SAFe program consultant, I've run more than 25 big room planning events with sticky notes. But to capture the plan and to track the work, an enterprise agile tool is critical. To keep teams aligned in real time, the program board ensures that changes in scope, current priorities, and goals are visible across teams. The program board has been used for in-person big room planning events, but really is an incredible information radiator for the virtual world as well. We'll come back to the Jira Align program board shortly. Early on at AgileCraft, we saw that Jira was the tool of choice for teams. So we bet big on Atlassian as we set out to tackle Agile at scale. With Jira Align, our mission is to simplify building software at scale. We aim to make all work visible, to align business and technology teams across the enterprise, and to maximize outcomes. We work with many organizations to help the entire enterprise play and win together. It's absolutely a game-changing event when you see hundreds of teams get aligned on a single mission. That's why we built Jira Align. That knowledge must flow seamlessly to scale. Jira Align is the enterprise agile platform that links our strategy to execution. It assists in our tracking our complex scaled environment and development to our product management, who bridges the knowledge to the strategic portfolio and business needs. It provides real-time analysis and allows us to capture those conversations and decisions made as we collaborate to deliver customer value. We also have other integrations to key Atlassian tools such as Jira and Trello. And as you can see, Jira Align allows us to focus on delivery teams, program teams, solution teams, if we are doing solution-based. When we think about from a SAFe perspective, that would be programs of programs. A solution train is what SAFe describes it as. Our portfolio teams, where we can do lean portfolio management. And at the executive team level, executives have visibility across the strategy of what they're focused on from a mission, vision, and values, and aligning it to OKRs, objectives and key results, and outcomes that we want to achieve through our strategic portfolio, product management, and scale development environments. It allows us also to fully sync people, work, and time. We can focus on cross-team, cross-functional collaboration and capture those conversations in the tool. We can look at real-time analysis through our reports. We have a single source of truth within Jira Align, even if we're integrating with other products like Jira, Jira Service Desk, Trello, Confluence, and many others. Let's talk a little bit about tips to moving to a virtual world for big room planning event. It requires much more planning and coordination for the facilitator and team. We have to make use of the tools for collaboration such as Zoom, Slack, Confluence, Trello, Jira, and Jira Align, just to name a few. We may also need to shorten the agenda or move from a full 2-day to even a 3 or 4-day planning event. We need to take frequent breaks and keep people engaged through polls, games, or physical activities such as stretches or yoga. Enlist help. This is key. We'll have help through chat monitors that will monitor event, team, or technical chats. We'll enlist a timekeeper to help keep track of our agenda and ensure that we keep pace with our time boxes. We may also use a transcriptionist for notes and action items, because as facilitator, we're going to be focused on keeping the flow of the virtual PI planning event in line. We may also want to create a virtual PI planning playbook that captures the agenda, working agreements, contacts, communication channels, and other critical information for the virtual event that everyone will have access to. And Confluence is a great way and place to keep that virtual PI planning playbook. We'll also want to coordinate how you can plan to facilitate passing the ball for readouts to keep things flowing. You may want to practice that before the event with your Scrum Masters and other folks that are going to help you with facilitating this PI planning event in the virtual world. We must learn to listen and remain engaged. It's easy to get distracted. We also want to finally prepare the context for the virtual PI planning event through prepared and recorded videos and shared information that we can do ahead of time. Things like the mission, vision, and values, having the CTO or CEO provide a quick overview of what the goal of this PI event is and how important the team is to achieving that. We created a virtual remote planning best practices and FAQ table of contents on the Atlassian Jira Align community page. Some of what I'm going to quickly show you today in this webinar will be better described and have details on how to use Jira Align for virtual PI planning. And we are looking for our clients to provide feedback, comments, and what you have been doing to make your virtual PI planning events more successful. So please check out the Jira Align community page. So let's talk a little bit about what we can do before the PI planning event. The why, how we can connect our work directly to company goals. So how do you know if your company would benefit from Jira Align for virtual remote PI planning? Well, here are a few questions to ask yourself. Do your teams find it difficult to connect their work to overall company goals? And sometimes ask, why are we doing this work in the first place? If so, you can use Jira Align to make work visible across the organization in a single view, regardless of where the work is being managed. For example, you can roll up the work across hundreds of programs using Jira software, Jira Service Desk, and Trello in a unified view with a common set of goals and a shared budget within Jira Align. And in virtual PI planning, at any point, teams and individuals have access to this information. Even better, each story, epic card, is tied back to the why. I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek and the Start With Why, and Jira Align shows us the why. All of us want to have an impact at work. We want to drive big results and improve our organization's ability, but it is very difficult to have an impact without understanding the why. With Jira Align, teams always know why their work matters. And the why button is available for Jira users that have the Jira and Jira Align connector in place so that the developer can see the why from the stories they are working on directly from Jira. Talk about powerful. We also recently updated the strategy review in Jira Align to better organize, track, and display our mission, vision, and values and objectives along with other key goals. Jira Align product manager Kyle Bird did a great job describing the details of this new page during Atlassian's remote summit. Check out his presentation if you get a chance. This is the rest of the strategy room as you scroll down for more details. And as a reminder, this strategy review could be available to anybody within Jira Align. All product managers start with prioritizing features for the program increment. The feature backlog allows them to prioritize through drag and drop or explicit ranking based on WSJF, weighted shortest job first, or even the priority of its parent item. We can use the backlog view in a virtual world as the product manager works with the product owners of the teams to look at the prioritized set of Jira epics or features in Jira Align. They can together work on updating the WSJF scores real time within Jira Align and then reprioritize based upon the WSJF score. We can also use this page to show the prioritization and potentially start to define what teams are going to be working on the features within Jira Align as well. The backlog Kanban column view, or plan by estimate, is a great tool that allows the product manager to plan the PI through estimated sizing of the features. Jira Align provides a calculated program velocity from the last two PIs that can also be overridden if necessary, so that we don't plan more work than we can actually deliver. Then as the teams break down the features into stories, the actual view can show the load of the PI based on the story estimates. Now this view is very powerful to take as a product owner to your team to show, hey, here is the work that's planned for the next PI. So we can start to look at that through our meetings that we do as we start to refine the backlog and break down those features into stories. And so we have visibility into this in the next PI or future PIs as well. And that takes me to the roadmap view. The roadmap view can be used for both PI planning and tracking the execution of the current PI. As a reformed waterfall project manager, I love this page for an executive readout to show progress in a myriad of views, such as by feature, epic, or theme, or feature by epic, which shows progress of the associated features within an epic. The roadmap has the ability to set an enhanced subjective red, yellow, and green status. There's other cool functionality on this page as well. check out the help to see the other configurations and views the roadmap offers. And I'd also go back to this roadmap view is very powerful to show not only the progress, but also planning. We use the roadmap ability that we can capture views and put it into a PowerPoint and use that as we start to do executive readouts and planning for the teams as we start to get into the next set of PIs, or even if we look at the roadmap beyond 2 and 3 PIs, that rolling way of planning that we continuously do and update as we get feedback from the work that we complete and roll out, and then start to address and impact the future roadmap. I've already quickly shown you the program board. This is one of the key pages of Jira Align that we use for our virtual planning event. We can see the streams of work the teams are working on, the timing of when those features will get done, and the dependency that team has, all real time in a virtual environment. The program board also provides a real-time status on the work we are coordinating and scheduling, so we don't have to have a project manager babysit and track the work. The program board is really an instrumental page and go-to within Jira Align for not only our PI planning event, but also as we go through the PI itself and update the information, it gives us real-time status of things that get out of sync, such as dependencies, or if something slips, and if the feature work that we have planned goes beyond the iteration that we plan to deliver it in. So it's a real-time tool and board that, from a physical perspective that we've done with our PI planning event, now we have the ability to see it real-time as we update it and make changes to the work that we do. And a lot of that work that the team does and Jira will automatically come over into Jira Align and provide those details. The team backlog Kanban sprint view replaces the big poster board for each iteration, with a ton of sticky notes representing stories and the load versus the planned velocity. We've also sometimes called that walking the walls. So in this case, we're walking the walls virtually. Even if our teams are working in Jira, this report is our virtual team readout after the team breakouts. Very powerful to see it within Jira Align. So we don't have to go into Jira, into each team's area of Jira. It will actually come over through the integration and provide this update in the Kanban sprint view. So we call this kind of our virtual walk the walls and team readout functionality. Do you always have a view of all the priorities and dependencies across the company? With Jira Align, team to team or program to program priorities and dependencies are visible and easy to manage at scale. One of my agile coaching jokes is, what's the best way to manage dependencies? Well, it's to eliminate them. Well, in reality, it's not possible to eliminate them at all. But with the visibility, we can effectively manage dependencies, and we have the opportunity to inspect and adapt to reduce them. There's also many other dependency maps which are very powerful within Jira Align. And we can see this real time at any point as we're updating dependencies. We can see what's committed, what's not committed, how we're tracking those dependencies, when they get completed, and other key functionality and reports that allow us to track dependencies, which are critical to ensuring our delivery. The risk roam report. Move beyond capturing risks on sticky notes and tracking them in a spreadsheet. Jira Align allows you to capture those team, program, and PI planning risks. In real time, we can roam, resolve, own, accept, and mitigate them, and track the progress during the PI planning event. One of the key breakout sessions in the PI planning event defined by Scaled Agile Framework is that roaming of risks. So as the teams in the program define the risks, we as the facilitator, the release train engineer, the scrum masters can all work, and even executives can work on reviewing those risks and then roaming them, which is very important for us to get team commitment at the end of the PI planning event. Action items for program. Well, some of those outputs of the risks are action items. We can also capture these key action items for the program to ensure we have visibility and responsibility for any critical action items. These action items can be owned by people that they're going to be responsible for tracking them. So in real time, we can have the ability within the PI planning event to capture those action items, assign them, and review them, and have the people that are going to be responsible for them know what they have to achieve as part of the outcomes of these action items within the PI planning event. Very critical. Let's get back to some planning and tracking objectives. One of the key things we do is capture our team, program, and portfolio objectives that we are working on to achieve as part of our customer value delivery. Business owners can set planned value, track the progress of the objectives throughout the PI, and then capture the delivered value once the objective is met. As you can see, much of what I've shown you for planning can also be used for tracking. So let's talk about some of those things after the PI planning event. The program room is a great dashboard to track all things associated to the program and has the ability to drill down to the team as well. So we can use the program room in our virtual stand-ups and opportunity to do readouts of where things are at within the PI planning or within the PI plan. We can see all the features that we're working on. We can drill down into the team's features that they're working on. We can look at the status of the action items. We can look at the status of the dependencies, if they've been committed, the ones that have been committed, have they been delivered? So it's our dashboard and view that we use often for kind of those status readouts within the program. We often use this on our Scrum of Scrums, might be a starting point for the release train engineer and the Scrum Masters, kind of as a starting point to look at what all is visible within the program board and then drill down to each of the teams. The program increment progress report provides our critical and crucial burn down and burn up views. It's a key agile metric for tracking our progress of work that also provides some predicted, pessimistic, and optimistic calculations on meeting our commitments. We'll go to the program increment progress report very often to see the status of how we're tracking. It's a good visual clue of, hey, are we going to make and meet our objectives and our commitments that we made during the PI planning event. And speaking of objectives, the progress by objective report is very important as well. As we track our objectives, planned and delivered value, the progress by objective report gives us incredible visibility into our PI planning objectives. So as those stakeholders and business folks, the ones that define the plan value, as they actually see the demos, the actual working software, they're able to go back and update those key objectives and provide the delivered value against the plan value. And we can see that in this progress by objective report. Some other key reports are like the program tracking report. This single detailed view is another way to track all of our work at the program level in kind of that single view. You can check out the key wheel and the help for all the information that this page delivers. I like to use this in our virtual setting as we can kind of see this view of all the work and it's color coded with some of the statuses of where things are at. And then we can drill down into the details if we need to. So as a release train engineer, this is a great place to go to track our work that we're doing within the PI that we committed to. Another key one is the work and process by state. Work and process by state is another view that allows us to track all the work in a single report. It shows the state of our work that is in and provides some very cool lean metrics, such as WIP, cumulative flow, lead, and cycle time. You can also go in there and actually, as you hover over and click on, let's say, for example, a feature, you can see what that feature, what epic or parent it's tied to, as well as all of the stories underneath it. So this is another way to track and see the work that we have committed to within the PI and go in there and look at the details of the work that we're doing and the progress that we're achieving throughout the PI. So another powerful tool as we slice and dice and look at the data through all these big visible information radiators. The program increment cleanup report is a single view that provides details of objectives not completed, risks and impediments that are open, stories and features not accepted, along with some other critical data validations that should be done at the end of the PI. This is, again, a critical report that allows us and pulls some information together so we don't have to go and hunt it down. So it's a key thing that the release train engineer, Scrum Master, product owner will review as we close out the PI and start to plan for our next PI. And last, can you measure the impact of your work against the larger goals of your organization? With Jira Align's new objective tree, the early results of your work is visible to everyone using outcome sensors. This provides immediate feedback loops to the delivery teams and provides actionable insights to the portfolio managers. Using OKRs, objectives and key results, linked to teams in Jira, you can quickly see leading and lagging indicators to help you decide if it's time to halt, pivot, or persevere with your work and process. Agile assessments and tools that can be used to measure team and program readiness, health, improvement, progress, and any other facet of agility, such as maturity. Jira Align allows you to create and manage several types of assessments and view the captured findings in a report. In addition, Jira Align also has a retrospective module that allows you to conduct retrospective meetings for periodic progress review and reflection by the team to collect ideas and improve the process, if you're so inclined to do that. It allows you also to do those retrospectives in our virtual world. So Jira Align can also help with some of the inspect and adapt requirements of what we want to do within our PI planning event so that we can continuously improve our organizational operations. I hope this quick overview of how Jira Align can help you and your organization with virtual big room planning and was helpful in learning how you can get in and stay in sync through connecting your strategy to execution, answering the why, and tracking delivery of our customer value to remain competitive in this ever-changing economy. Thank you again for your attention, and now we have some time for some questions and answers.